Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit here back again with Code Geass. We're on episode 17 of Season 2, and in the last episode we had Charles disappear and then reappear in the same episode. So, yeah, like, obviously he had been, I guess, sort of, I don't know what happened, because when I was editing episode 15, right, that was when Lelouch was inside the bloody the Sword of Akasha with the Emperor and C2 and whatnot, and they managed to escape it somehow. And the way the scene was edited, when it looked like Schneisel was doing something with Nina, and I think it was like Lelouch had reached out to grab C2 or whatever, and then straight after that, it cut to a screen that Nina and Schneisel were looking at, and there was like a little ball, little sphere that just like sort of imploded and disappeared. And I'm not entirely sure what that was. I thought it was the Sword of Akasha itself, like, because I was saying that obviously this whole thing is more technology and system based as opposed to mystical stuff, right? So if the Sword of Akasha is indeed like some form of like information realm which you can sort of put yourself into, if it's part of a system, then it can be deleted, right? And I thought that's what happened. That's like kind of the image I had like in my head put together, because why else would the scene be cut that way? So I put an edit in episode 15, I think it was, when that happened, saying, did Schneisel actually try to get rid of the Emperor? Like, did he actually try to get rid of Charles? But then, in episode 16, when Charles reappeared, Schneisel seemingly was annoyed, and that obviously went along with my theory that Schneisel got rid of him. But Schneisel said, was this just a ploy? Like, did he go into hiding? Like, was that like his plan all along? So that makes me think that it was like Schneisel wasn't trying to get rid of him then. But I'm pretty much confused, because, you know, everything with Schneisel, seemingly he doesn't agree with the way that the Emperor does things, right? So I don't know. That's still up in the air. We'll see where that goes. But yeah. So we have C2, who obviously after the whole incident inside the Sword of Akasha has lost all of her memories of ever having the Geass. Everything that she acquired from the moment she got the Geass, like all those memories are gone. So she's reverted back to her like former slave self, and is very cute now. It's funny watching her, not like trying to understand things that's happening around her. We had Valletta is nowhere to be seen. The last time we saw her was when she was tracking down Ogi. She was going to kill him, and then Sayako come in and pretty much try to kill Valletta. Ogi jumped in front of the shurikens or whatever they were, took a bunch of them, and then fell into a river. Valletta jumped after him, and then the next time we see Ogi, he turned up at the sort of the forming of the United Federations of Nations or whatever it is. But Valletta's nowhere to be seen. So I don't know what's happened there. I'm sure we'll find that out. And yeah, so yeah, with the United Federation of Nations, that means that, you know, the EU and all of that are coming along as well. Along with like the Chinese Federation, it's a group, and then all of them are to get rid of their nation's military. And instead, whenever there is need of a military force, they'll bring in the Black Knights. So the Black Knights is basically the whole military surrounding the UFN. And that is obviously when Charles appeared up on the screen and said, right, well, you've basically just made it easier for me to take over now, because now there's only two sort of like nations going at it. There's the Britannian Empire and then the UFN. So it's basically whoever wins the war of this ends up taking over the world. So yeah, That is all. We got introduced to Bradley as well. Vampire, who's Knight of 10, so he's obviously one of the weaker ones, I'd imagine. And yeah, and that is all. Anya, yeah, also said that she had her mind altered. And that, like, well, she didn't say that, but it was confirmed that she did. So yeah, we'll have to see. And finally, the last episode ended on Lelouch having to resort to calling up Suzaku to make sure that Nunnally's safe, because Nunnally is no longer safe with Charles around. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But that is all for the pre-talk. So we're gonna get in episode 17. See what we'll get. Without further ado, let's go.
I came alone as I promised. Now what's the meaning of this, Jeremiah? If you have information on Princess Cornelia's whereabouts, then why do you need to tell it only to me in secret?
Huh.
The Black Knights are approaching the Kagoshima coast, but rest assured, there's no need to worry.
Don't let a single soldier land.
Oh yeah, they're attacking Japan, aren't they? The Black Knights, they're going to liberate it.
Damn the Black Knights! How did they amass this strength?
Right, don't panic. As long as we're able to defend Area 11, all the Imperial armies led by Prince Odysseus and the other royal family members can rush into the UFN territories.
If Japan is liberated, the other colony areas of Britannia will spring into action one after another, which would redefine the map of the world.
In summation,
it's the decisive battle.
So it's whoever wins this then? That's it? Oh yeah, he's going to meet Suzaku here, isn't he?
How do you like that, you stupid Brit?
That was where we first met Suzaku.
I don't need a reason to save who I want to save or do what I want to do!
You always were stubborn. That was the reason. The reason you became the first and only real friend I ever had.
Oh shit, that's a cool one. I like that.
There's nothing to fear. The Knight of One, the strongest in the Empire, is in Kyushu. If we can just ride this out and remain anchored in Tokyo, this will only look like minor trouble to foreign countries.
Yes, Your Highness.
It looks as if the enemy offensive is losing steam, and if you join the battle, you'll surely finish this with one blow, Lord Waldstein.
you think so? This attack is far too weak for one of Zero's trademark strategies.
A lot of nerves.
Showing your face in front of me, that's what took nerves. Not your own daring.
Well, he did phone you before. Like, saying that.
I have no reason to believe any of your promises at this point. I'm fed up with lying. I've had to lie to Nunnally, just the way you have. That's the worst thing. You've been betraying me all along. Not just me either, but everyone on the student council too, and even Nunnally. And don't forget Yuffie.
Have faith in Zero.
How can we, after he brought Orange and that Rolo person into our ranks
God's
without
sake.
conferring with us first?
Don't you feel that he's keeping too many secrets from us?
It's the same every time, isn't
on
it?
that secret mission?
Alright, just what are you trying to achieve by threatening me, D-Tard?
Threaten you? Oh no.
Let's
I'm
find
simply
out.
asking you to continue working as a member of the Black Knights. I'm only saying that I don't want you to be any trouble to Zero, that's all. You're valuable for the simple reason that you're a man of ordinary character. Organizations need more than brilliant leadership and star players in order to succeed.
Did you use your Geass power on Yuffie?
Yes.
Be honest.
Tell him why. Tell him what
Yes.
happened.
You caused her to massacre the Japanese?
I ordered her to do it, to motivate the Japanese people. If the specially administrated zone of Japan had been established, the Black Knights would have collapsed.
Why are you lying for?
And Shirley's death?
Also my fault.
Were both of them nothing more than pawns for your ambitions?
Yes, that's right. So all the sin is mine alone to shoulder.
How could you use Nunnally like that?
Suzaku, I'm sorry.
Ready for the second charge.
Oh, fuck!
The commander, are you not, sir?
Came to crush the head of the snake, have you?
That was a cool sword.
The holy sword bestowed upon me
Excalibur?
by His Majesty himself.
Really? Of course. Why wouldn't that be there?
For the first time in my life, I'm bowing down to another person. Please, you have to save Nunnally. I beg of you.
After everything you've done, you really think this is sufficient? You believe that some bowing and begging is enough to get me to forgive you?
No, of course I don't, but it's all I've got. I have nothing else left to offer.
People you've tricked. The people who died thanks to you. And what about Yuffie? You want to apologize? And bring Yuffie back to life, right now!
It's all been calculation and stage production. The mask they call Zero's a symbol. Just a device that lets me tell lies!
A device?
I can't go back to the past. It's not a choice. You know I can't undo what's already been done!
Why did you use your Geass on me to make me want to live? Why?
That was the only way to get them out of there alive. That was the only way. Hello everyone, just a reminder that if you go into the link in the description to my Patreon and get the early access tier for $5 a month, you can gain access to 4 episodes of Code Geass every single week. That is 2 on Monday and 2 on Friday. And you get them a week early as well. So if you're clamoring for more reactions from me from Code Geass more frequently, it's in the description to my Patreon and the early access tier for $5 a month. On with the video.
Why would you put such a curse on me?
I only did it because I wanted to survive.
And why did you save me when I was accused of Prince Clovis's murder?
I wanted to make the Japanese trust me, that's all.
The look in his eyes. I know that look. The look of torment that comes from bottling up a lie.
So he knows he's lying then.
You're lying, aren't
Good,
you?
thank fuck, because...
You told the world a lie when you proclaimed that you were a knight for justice. Why don't you live up to that lie by trying to become a true knight for justice? Then you'll have to keep the lie going. To the very end. By putting an end to this war. You are Zero. This job, only Zero can do it. Bring peace and happiness to the world.
How is he supposed
to? If you do that, I'll save Nonali.
Well, how is he supposed to?
You will?
He can only do it by fighting.
But we'll work together. One more time for her sake.
The two of us together. We can accomplish anything.
What the?
Are you alright, Sir Kururugi? Please, step back.
Suzaku, you set me up from the start.
No, wait.
You've done a great deed here, Sir Kururugi. Excellent work.
You plan to sell me out again. You betrayed me, Suzaku. You betrayed me!
I found it hidden deep in a locker like it was something valuable. There are a few photos missing here and there, though. Ones of you, too. Everyone appears, well...
That's right.
He can look like that, too, huh? I've never seen Suzaku smile like that.
Sir Bradley, please stop! Oh, buck up. You've taken so many hits, you're only going to crash anyway.
He's using one of his own
What?
ships as a weapon? Fall back at full speed while firing!
Nicely done. Good form.
Zero, what's taking so long?
Can't believe Zero's identity is that of a student.
Guilford!
Wait, Jeremiah did that?
How sad. Zero, killer of royalty. It's tragic that it would turn out to be you, my own younger brother. I'm willing to intercede with His Majesty on your behalf. You realize, of course, that you can't simply be excused for the crimes you've committed, but your life may yet be spared.
So you think you can take pity on me?
This was all done under orders from Prince Schneisel. He figured that following you would ultimately lead us to Zero.
Lelouch, even now, I do still consider myself your brother.
Wait,
I carry no grudge. Can you believe me when I say that?
I would love to be able to, brother. Unfortunately, I'm done with trusting anyone or anything. Because friendship only leads to betrayal. Lord Guilford, I just have a request to ask of you.
Oh shit, there's something!
Whenever you see me assume this pose, you will recognize and acknowledge me as Princess Cornelia.
Princess Cornelia!
Oh my god!
Guilford, my knight, it is I! You must rescue me!
Yes!
I don't know even.
Lelouch, no!
I bid you farewell, my first and last friend.
Lelouch, come back! Did you use your Geass power on Yuffie? Be honest.
Sir Kururugi, would you happen to know the reason why Lord Guilford would suddenly betray us?
There's some important information we need before we can pursue him. Information that only you know, Sir Kururugi.
Ragnarok backup reinitializing.
Unless you tell us right now what we need to know, there are going to be more unnecessary casualties and destruction before it's over.
So, the fool has come.
Prepare to attack! You're cleared to shoot down the Vincent as well!
Tokyo settlement, I'll bring you to a halt right now.
Ah, this thing again. They just got an answer for everything, man.
All tasks at hand have been cleared.
Nice.
Todo!
Acknowledged. Now commencing 7th operation. Raise the Ikaruga.
Ikaruga surfacing.
Obi, right now you realize.
Yes, I'm aware.
So what's Needhard up to then?
All hands, battle station!
All right, let's do this.
This battle will be ours.
Now I shall prove my loyalty. Prince Lelouch and Princess Nonali.
Rolo, how are things on your end?
Fine.
We're beginning the operation right now. I was wrong to think that I could depend on sympathy. Cold and callous, that's the prescription. Unless I keep myself perfectly in this frame of mind, I won't be able to take Nonoli back.
Now I understand. I understand everything. But now, I'm the one controlling the game.
That's right, Suzaku. If you had only informed Prince Schneisel from the very start, we could have avoided this battle. Being that you're one of the Knights of the Round, you won't be subjected to disciplinary action. However, you'll have to answer to the sins of your own heart.
I feel like I'm
What should I do? Do I have to pilot it? The Lancelot armed with the Flea device? Will I have to use it? On the Lelouch?
Fuck! Okay, episode 17. Right, so at the very beginning we had what we thought was Jeremiah, who had seeked out Guilford. Well, he did, but little to Guilford's knowledge, Lelouch was with him and ended up using his Geass on him. At first, I thought, I think it's supposed to, like, I think that was on purpose for you, like, to think that it was Jeremiah that sold out Lelouch, but it wasn't. And instead, Lelouch used it as a sort of as a backup plan. I love that because Lelouch has an answer for everything that Britannia does. Like, there's always a way out of it, you know. He always has something up his sleeve, which it's always great to witness. I'll get out of the way. I think honestly the opening for this show, like for this opening, is like my favorite opening. I really like it. They confirmed that the battle for Japan will be the decisive one. I was thinking like it was pretty much like, I mean, for the whole world, but I mean, I guess with the amount of episodes we've got left, we'll have to get this, we'll have to get it wrapped up, I guess. But it will be the decisive one. So yeah, I wrote down like, why wouldn't Lelouch just tell Suzaku the truth? And then I was thinking like, well, is Lelouch doing it, you know, putting the blame on himself so it keeps it away from everyone else? Also, it probably goes along with the fact that because he has this Geass power, that whole thing of having to be alone and shit like that. I don't know, but I mean, I didn't see any real benefit to Lelouch lying about it, you know. Only to keep up the appearance that Zero is. But at the end of the day, he was talking to Suzaku, like the one person who I feel like he could tell the truth to. Because, you know, he would have to. I think for the sake of like Nunnally, I think Suzaku knowing everything. So I mean, I don't think there was any reason to lie. Like, you know, Lelouch would be able to tell. I don't know why he didn't just say, look, the Geass fucking took over, and that was the point where, you know, I couldn't control it anymore. It was accidental, but oh well. I hope that comes out at some point, because Lelouch is just going to end up, like, he's just going to keep on being judged for that one action. Like, that is the major action. I would say that is like the only reason Suzaku is entirely mad. Well, I guess the whole ordering him to live thing, I guess that as well. But, you know, if he told him about fucking the reason why Yuffie was ordered to massacre people, then shit would be just so much easier. Speaking of which, I don't even know, you know, before they got interrupted, they were talking about working together. Like, what was Lelouch, what was Suzaku planning to do? Like, are you talking about, like, was Suzaku planning on helping the Black Knights against Britannia or what? Because he would have to have. You'd have to turn court, right? I don't know what else he could do. But, oh well. Because I'm guessing the whole Knight of One thing is out of the window. Like, is Suzaku still going for that, or what? Because, you know. Unless that was Suzaku's plan. Just kill all of the knights that are in front of him, therefore he gets automatically moved up. Nah, he wouldn't do that. Speaking of the knights, Bradley has some impressive weapons. I like his the spinning fucking like spear thing that he's got. I really like that. Also the fact that he was using his own ship, like a ship that was on it's on the Britannian Empire's side, to plow it into the Black Knights. That's fucking. Does no one question this guy? Well, everyone questions them, but does nobody like think that maybe he's a bit fucking volatile and shouldn't be in that position? I guess, you know, when I guess I don't know. Is there no hierarchy for the Knights of the Round? Like, are they not like, for example, because people seem to, I guess maybe it's just they look up to Bismarck and like respect his opinion over the others because he's the Knight of One, but does that not carry on down the list? Like, do they not have like say, like, does the Knight of 3 have a say over the Knight of 4, for example? You know, like, all the way down. Because I'm thinking Bradley's like number 10, right? Isn't that like, I don't know how many there are, but that's pretty far down the list. I'm pretty sure even Suzaku's higher than, because he's like the Knight of 7, isn't he? So I guess not, because they're all pretty chummy with each other. So I guess not, but you know. So then I guess the only people who would even have a say in stopping Bradley doing what he's doing is, I'm guessing, Bismarck, and if not only that, then the Emperor. And I'm guessing the Emperor won't give a shit anyway, will he? So, oh well, whatever. Yeah, I love that Lelouch ordered Guilford to fucking as soon as he makes a specific action, Jeremiah would think that's Cornelia. It's an interesting like way to think. How would that work? You know what I mean? Like, if you're busy looking at Lelouch and then all of a sudden he turns into Cornelia, like, how does? I guess we don't really know how that would work. Like, how would that? I don't know. It's strange. We had the Emperor for a split second. A few people talked about the Ragnarok backup. Now, I think that's the only time that we've heard about Ragnarok other than the very first episode. And that was where C2 was explaining about how I can't remember exactly what it was. It was like they were talking about obviously the power of the king and then Ragnarok. And I can't. Where are you? Yeah, she can grant the power of the king. Ragnarok. Yeah, I didn't even write anything down regarding what exactly it was she said regarding Ragnarok, but I don't know if it has I don't know if it has any connection to the actual Ragnarok, the story of like Ragnarok and stuff, which is like from Norse mythology and stuff, which is interesting considering we're going from Norse mythology, as well as like the Knights of the Round Table and stuff. Like, it's interesting how both of them are on the same thing. I mean, Ragnarok, if like I don't know what he's Ragnarok is supposed to be, the idea is that that's supposed to bring about the end of the world, right? In Norse mythology, that's what it's supposed to be. So I guess they could have called it that based upon the Emperor wanting to destroy that, like destroy lies and destroy God. I mean, I guess that could be the connection, but I don't know. The fact that when she mentioned Ragnarok from the very beginning, it almost seemed like no, because if the Emperor's going on about Ragnarok, then that has to be in connection with him and not connection with the Geass, right? Maybe it is. Maybe it's the connection. It's the oh fuck. What is Ragnarok all about? Oh, how has it come about again? It's the world serpent and that, right? I think does Ragnarok come about when all of the mythological creatures appear? You have like the world serpent, and then there's other ones, right? Like the big wolf and shit. So if it's the collection of all of them coming back at the same time, maybe it's the idea that maybe that's the reason why the Emperor wanted all of the temples. If he can get them all and then do something with each of them, maybe that opens up something called Ragnarok, and that unlocks Ragnarok, and you can use that as a weapon of some sort. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, that's finally coming to fruition. Ever since episode 1, all the way back in season 1, and we'll finally get a mention of Ragnarok, and I'm sure we'll get to see it soon. Detard. We'll have Detard up to something with Ogi, which is interesting. Remember, like back in season 1, where Lelouch questioned Detard about why Detard is like almost acting on his own and sort of trying to manipulate things from his end, instead of just being an observer, which he claims to be, and like to document his stuff and stuff. Well, what's he doing here then? Because he specifically wanted Sayako to go after Ogi and bring him in because of possible work with the enemy, which is Valletta, right? Now, the fact that they've kept Valletta alive and Detard's talking to Ogi about something. Now he does it. He said he's Detard's saying that he's doing it like to keep Zero safe and shit. But what could he possibly be up to that would help in that situation without Zero knowing, Lelouch knowing about it? You know, I don't know. We'll have to see. We had Lelouch tearing up there. I'm not sure if it was specifically a if he was tearing up specifically because he felt betrayed by Suzaku or what. Or that he felt like he probably lost his best hope of I don't know. We'll see. But finally, yeah, I'm wondering if Schneizel and Cannon are manipulating Suzaku. Specifically Cannon. The way they were talking to him almost seems like... Well, Cannon in particular, like the way he was talking to Suzaku kind of felt like he was manipulating him. Just the way he was like talking down to him and stuff, and the like when he's like talking down to him and stuff and saying like, yeah, if you had done this, then you know this war wouldn't have had to have happened. They're basically giving him a guilt trip, you know, and making him feel that guilt so that he basically has no doubts next time and doesn't try to help Lelouch and shit and keep them on his side. Like I feel like that's what's happening there. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like. I mean, to me, I don't know. I guess Schneizel is capable of doing that, because I mean, Schneizel does seem like a more stand-up guy. But I don't know. Schneizel could be, you know, could be one of those things where he's willing to do that if it's for the sake of, you know, him trying to end the war. I can probably see him doing that. So yeah, we'll see. But that is all for that episode. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, I have links to certain things. One of them is the Discord. I urge everyone to go over there, especially if you want me to react to a certain show, because that's where polls and things start. Also, if you just want to come talk to me out of the community, you're free to do that as well. And Patreon. So I do have a Patreon page, so if you do want to support me, that'd be very much appreciated. There's a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. Going through them right now. There's the early access, that is the $5 a month, that's the most popular one. So for that you gain access to all of the Patreon shows I do a week early. And for Psychopaths and Code Geass you get 4 episodes a week, as opposed to the usual 2 that the general public get. So if you're clamming for more reactions from me more frequently, that's what you want to get there. $10 a month, that's the full length. So for that, you gain access to all of the reactions I do in full, fully unedited. As long as you have your own reference footage, you can watch the whole thing along with me. So yeah, there's that. $15, that is the exclusive tier. So for that, you gain access to a bonus show that I'm reacting to. I've just finished Parasite, so another one is, there is a poll going now to determine which one's going to take the place of that, and then I'll react to that for the exclusive tier. And also all OVA reactions and all movie reactions go into there as well. $50, that is the elite tier. So every time you pay $50, you get a choice of a show that you want me to react to, and I will react to it. It'll go at the back of the list. There's about 7 or 8 shows, so it might take me a while to get around to it, but I will do eventually. Unless you want to jump the queue and go at the very front, then you want to get God tier, which is $100, and that means I'll react to your show next. But yeah, that is all. So thank you, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.